What's up, guys? We're in Dunedin, Florida. We're gonna be asking people on the street here whether or not they believe there's a designer when it comes to the complexity in our cells. So if you found a watch on the ground,
okay,
would you think that it was created by someone, or do you think that it was put together by chance? If you just found like a random watch.
I mean, my first inclination would be that it was put together by another human, you know?
Why?
That knowledge had to come from somewhere.
Would you apply that same logic to when it comes to like the human body and the systems within the human cells?
There's no way people can believe that there's no such thing as God. You know, when you really look at the detail, it's a beautiful thing.
There's no way that all of this could have come together like by accident. Just kind of like primordial soup. Where did the primordial soup even come from?
Do you know how many cells are in the human body?
Billions, yeah?
Yes.
Billions.
30 trillion.
Wow,
Yeah,
30 trillion.
I thought it was billions too.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I think what's crazy is that like there's a shift in the culture, because I haven't been able to run into anybody that's saying that at least no designers involved. I haven't seen that yet. Anybody want to be on the YouTube channel? Anybody want to answer questions for our YouTube channel?
I got my head in the clouds. Hey mama, look at me now. I finally figured it out.
Hey guys, so we just flew into New Jersey over here at the Newark airport. We're driving over to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania right now to meet with Dr. Behe. So Dr. Behe, thank you so much for having me at your house.
Oh, it's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I met with Dr. Woodward over in Clearwater, Florida, where I live, and he was kind enough to meet with me, discuss just about why the science isn't settled when it comes to the origin of life, of what some people would say creation, others would say evolution or Darwinism. And so you're someone that he brought up that I needed to visit. And he said that to talk to you about molecular machines?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's fascinating. Up until about the middle of the 20th century, science didn't know what was going on in the cell. And only so in the past 50 or 75 years or so, science has discovered that instead of just being a little glob of jello, the cell is run by machines. Real, live machines made out of molecules. There are things in your cells, everybody's cells, that are like trucks. They drive along highways that are made out of molecules. And in the back of the trucks, they have supplies. And they carry the supplies from one end of the cell to another. And there are little like road signs telling the truck where to turn, and turn this way instead. And here's the destination, dump off the supplies here. And there are machines that unload the stuff from the trucks. This was completely unexpected, but yeah, it turns out that life is the very foundation of life, cell and molecular level, based on machines.
So could you give me an example of a couple of machines?
Yeah, my favorite one is the bacterial flagellum. It is literally an outboard motor that bacteria use to swim. What it does is, just like an outboard motor on a boat, there's a propeller, and the propeller is attached to the drive shaft, and the drive shaft is attached to a motor which spins around, and it spins the drive shaft, which spins the propeller, and the motor is hooked onto the cell membrane, just like clamps and screws hook a motor onto a boat. It's a real machine.
Could these machines have evolved themselves? Like could a half of a truck have existed and then a full truck come later? You know what I'm saying? Or like half of a flagellum become a full flagellum? Does that even exist?
Yeah, that's a great question. The short answer is no. I mean, if you look at the molecular machinery in the cell, none of it works as half machinery. Okay. It needs all of it to work. And
so even 90%, it won't work?
Yeah, pretty much. You got to look at the details, but that's pretty much right. And that's a big problem for Darwin's theory. It's something that I book called Irreducible Complexity.
What's that?
It's a fancy phrase. It just means you've got a system that has a number of parts. A machine or something has a handful of parts. So that's the complex part of it. And it's irreducible, meaning you can't reduce it. You can't take one of the parts away and still have it work. So it's irreducibly complex.
Dr. Behe paints the picture for us as he explains how sophisticated our cells are. In the past century, science has discovered that cells are not just little globs, but they're actually run by these machines made of molecules. He explained that our cells almost function like an automated city would, with highways, self-driven machines, and more. When most of us see something like this, we don't just assume that machines like trucks just came out of nowhere. He also mentions irreducible complexity, which means something like a mousetrap can't work if you take a piece out of it. It's so clearly designed that you wouldn't look at a mousetrap and think the springs and metal all fell on a piece of wood and formed this functional mousetrap. So then, why would we look at these molecular machines and say they evolved over time with no designer behind all of this?